So I have Sam here demonstrating a back squat. As you can see, he has the bar high up on his trap, but not here on his neck. And then whenever he squats back, he keeps his shoulders locked back. And the very first thing that he moves is his hips. His hips kick back before he moves his knees, as you can see here. And the whole time, his knees never go past his toes. And then coming out in the concentric, the first thing he does is extend his hips, and his knees will naturally follow a path when they go into extension. And he keeps a nice neutral spine here. A lot of people have trouble keeping a rounded back here. It'll tend to come forward. He avoids that really well. And his head is in a nice neutral position as well. All right, great. Here we have Sam. He's going to demonstrate a front squat for us, so go ahead and rack up. You see he keeps it on the meat of his shoulder right here, and he doesn't dig it into his neck. And some people who don't have flexibility in the wrists and elbows might have to go like this. This is a lot more comfortable. Go ahead. And so just like a back squat, the first thing he does is kick his hips back before he flexes at the knees. And he does his best to keep his knees from going past his toes, just like in a back squat. He keeps a neutral spine here without any rounding here at the bottom. And he does his best to keep his elbows up here at the bottom. A lot of people, when they get fatigued, when they go to the bottom, their elbows will start to sink forward. This will cause their torso to lean forward, which puts you in a very compromised, unsafe position. So do one more for us. Great. Sam is going to demonstrate for us a box squat. And as he comes up, he stands up straight, extending at the hips completely. And when he comes down, he sits down in the same spot. A lot of people, their problem will be their knees will come forward, and because of that, they won't land on the bench at the same spot, as you can see here. So go ahead and do one. And then on the way down as well, he controls himself so that he doesn't plop down. A lot of people have trouble with glute activation because of this. They'll hit the chair really hard, and we want to try to avoid this. This exercise is really great for helping that. Great. So Sam here is going to be demonstrating for us a lunge. And so whenever he goes to lunge, go ahead. He lunges far enough so that his knee and his shin stay perpendicular with the ground and straight up. You don't want your knee to go past your toe. And also, go ahead and do it again. His back knee doesn't touch the ground, and he also keeps his torso upright. So just do a couple more. Excellent. And he does a good job of making sure his knee doesn't come in towards his torso. Awesome. All right, so Sam is going to demonstrate a step up for us. So go ahead. As you can see, this bench might be a little too high as whenever you go back down. His femur is a little more than parallel with the ground, but that's fine. And whenever he steps up, he comes to full extension in the hip and knee, and then he lands in the same spot when he comes back down. Like that. Go ahead and do one more. Great. Sam here is going to be demonstrating a leg press for us. He's going to have a higher foot stance on the board. This is going to help you hit more ham and glute. If you were to have a lower stance, this would hit more quad. All right, so go ahead. His foot positioning is about shoulder width apart, which is fine. And then his knees, as you can see, they come to about shoulder width. You don't want them to come in too narrow, or this will restrict your breathing, especially down here in your torso. And he doesn't lock out completely at the knee. Great.
Okay, so here we have Mike doing some deadlifts today. Mike, go ahead and give me a demonstration. What Mike's going to do, we're just going to keep you there for a second. You're going to have your feet placing. Your feet are both facing forward, and they're about maybe a foot apart, about like your hip width. And his hand placement is he's doing a double overhand right now. Mike, can you demonstrate a double underhand, please?
Yep.
No, like a There you go.
Under over?
This is what you use when you go to heavier weights. Now Mike's gonna keep the bar towards his body and he's gonna lift. Keep it as close to his body as possible and thrust through with the hips. Keeping his scapula retracted the whole time in order to keep a straight back so his back doesn't round and cause injury. Okay, so Mike's going to demonstrate a Romanian deadlift. It's very similar to a conventional deadlift which we demonstrated in the previous video. So Mike, you want to give it a go? He's going to keep it the same. His hand placement is the same. His feet are both straight forward in line with the pelvis. However, his legs are going to be fairly straight. They're not going to be in complete lockout. He's going to allow a little bit of a bend and keep that straight back and thrust through with the hips at the top, working the hamstrings and a little bit of the quad. Just keeping that scapula retracted for a tight bar path and a straight back. All right, here we got Mike. He's going to do a leg curl for us. What he's going to do, he's going to have the bar pad here situated so that it's kind of giving him a little stretch, but it's not overextending his knees, and it's giving a nice stretch, and he's right around the heels area. You can either be at the heels, or around the ankles where he is right now. He's going to come up, contract through his hamstrings and a little bit through his glute. His back is fairly straight. He's not going to round, and his arms are supporting the rest of the lift by hanging on to the grips. All right, so here we have Michael doing a good morning. He's going to demonstrate for us right here. Now what he's going to do is his feet placement is still the same. His knees and his hamstrings are still tight but not completely locked out. What he's actually going to do is stick his butt out so that he can have a straight back. This is mainly like an RDL or like a conventional deadlift. He's placed the bar on the back of his traps so that he can keep a straight back and have a lot of support and so that it doesn't hurt his spine. So we have Mike. He's going to demonstrate a glute ham raise for us. And now he's got his feet really tight in there as well as his shins. They're really tight in there. So that way he has a solid positioning and base for when he goes down like so. He's going to keep a straight back just like a RDL or good morning. He's got his hands placed mainly on his stomach, wherever feels comfortable. His head is straight, right off his spine. It doesn't curve down or up. And he is also, with his knees, they're coming a little bit off the pad, but not going into full extension. They're only going to a certain degree. You want to go one more time for us and we'll see that again? Okay, here we have Mike. He's going to demonstrate a reverse hyperextension. And what he's going to do, he's going to lay on the bench here, and he's going to have his hips lined up with the edge of the bench so that he has a very solid base and that his entire torso is on top of this. Now, normally with a regular reverse hyperextension machine, you would have something to grab onto with your hands to make you more stable, but here he's just going to use the edge of the chair. What he's going to do, he's going to keep his legs apart and not together, so that when he comes up, it's less glute involvement and more hamstring. He's going to continue to do that and raise up, as long as keeping his back relatively straight and good contractions at the top.